In this video, I'm going to just demonstrate some ezEML features that support collaboration among ezEML users. These features also support submitting data packages to the data repository of EDI, the Environmental Data Initiative, and collaborating with EDI's data curation team in that process. I'm going to assume people have a basic familiarity with ezEML, which is EDI's online tool for creating and editing EML metadata documents and packaging them up with their associated data tables and other data entities. You'll hear me refer to EML documents and packages. By packages, I'll generally mean the EML document together with its associated data. Whenever you create an EML document and package in ezEML, the various files reside in your ezEML account's file storage area on the ezEML server. For documents and packages that you've created in your ezEML account, we say that you are their owner. Up till now, the only way to access the files has been to log in to the owner's ezEML account with that account's username and password. There are lots of scenarios though where it's useful to invite one or more of your colleagues to collaborate with you in editing, reviewing, and maintaining a package without your having to share ezEML login credentials. In earlier versions of ezEML, there was a feature called Send to Colleague that would zip up the package and email it to a colleague who could then import it into their own ezEML account. Using Send to Colleague, though, could result in a lot of sending of packages back and forth as people worked on them, and could create confusion because of there being multiple versions of the package. So instead, our new collaboration features let you invite one or more other ezEML users to collaborate with you in editing one of your data packages directly. The package continues to reside in your ezEML account, but your collaborators are able to access and modify it from their ezEML accounts. You and your collaborators share a single instance of the package. So what I have here, what I've set up here is a number of fictitious users, and we're going to look at their simulated interactions among them using the collaboration features. So I've set them up in each in their own browser window. There's user one, and by the way, notice that the username is up in the upper left corner here. As we switch back and forth, you'll want to sort of notice what user we're currently looking at. So you start with user one, there's user two, user three, and then I have a curator user, which I'll explain more later. Now, the idea here is that in reality, in practice, these browsers would be running on different people's machines, in different offices, different labs, or etc. I just have them all running here on my laptop, just so for the purposes of this demo. But think of them as different people interacting and collaborating over the internet. The particular user names here, user one, user two, etc. Those are, I picked those just to help make it easier to follow what's going on in the demo. They are not meaningful in any way beyond that. And in practice, when you do this, you would have your own ezEML username, and their other users would have their own ezEML username, etc. And I'm thinking of, in this demo, I'm going to be thinking of user one as me, my account. User two is John Doe. User three is Jane Doe, and the curator is just an unnamed curator. So let's see how this works. As user one, as me, I'm going to open a I'm going to open a document in the normal means that if you've been using ezEML, you're familiar with. Just go to the EML documents menu and pick open. Now, as I said, the packages, documents and packages that I have created, the terminology we're going to use is that I am their owner. And when I open the drop down list here of documents that are available for me to open, those are the documents that I own. So in this case, I'm going to pick, let's say, EDI 22. I'll open that, and we see the user interface that if you use ezEML, you're familiar with. There are a couple of new things to point out. There is a collaborate link up here at the top right that will let you go to the collaboration page at any point in working on the document. We'll see use of that in a second. And at the bottom of the contents list, these are the sort of the steps you go through in filling out the EML metadata for a package. And at the very end, you may want to submit the package to the data repository of EDI, or you may want to share the package with a colleague and collaborate with one or more colleagues in looking at the package. So let's click this link. Let me just say that in the prior versions of ezEML, there were several different links down here. There were send to EDI, send to colleague, enable EDI curation, and that we've streamlined that interface and combined some things. So it's sort of like down here, this is sort of the last step you might think of it as in creating this package, although you can do the share at any point along the way also. So anyway, so I'll click submit share package, and it takes me to a page where now I have a couple of options. I can, if I'm ready to submit the package to EDI, I can click that. If I want to set up a collaboration on this package with one or more colleagues, I can click collaborate with colleagues. And each has help as usual. It turns out that the submit package to EDI feature is going to use some of the underlying machinery that is involved in collaborate with colleagues. So I'm going to demo collaborate with colleagues first, just so we get familiarity with the collaboration ideas. So let me click that. And what that does is it takes me to the collaborate page, which is exactly the same as if I click collaborate up here. We just have it included in this submit share package to make it more discoverable by users. So I click that. It takes me to a page where whatever collaborations I'm involved in will be listed. Now, currently, I am not collaborating with anyone, so the list is empty. Now, how do I set up a collaboration? How does that happen? Well, I am the owner of this document, EDI 22, and I can, as the owner, I can invite one or more collaborators to collaborate with me. So let me do that. Click invite a collaborator. Put in what's going to happen here is that an email is going to be generated and sent to the invitee. So I need to put in my name and email address so that the email can include in it who it's from. And then I'll put in the collaborator's name and collaborator's email. And then for the purposes of this demo, I'm actually going to use my own email address for the collaborator, but that's only so that I can show you the email that comes in. You would, of course, use, in this case, John Doe's email address. So I'm going to fill that in, and I'll click send invitation. And I'm told that the invitation has been sent, and when it's accepted, I'll be notified by email. And now I see on my collaborate page that I have, in addition to the table showing me the collaborations that I'm involved in, it shows me the pending invitations that I've created that have not yet been accepted. And while I'm at it, let me invite a second collaborator. And well, before I do that, let me just point out that this invitation to collaborate pertains to the specific EML document, the specific package that I have open, in this case, EDI22. So before inviting a collaborator, I want to have open the document that I'm inviting them to collaborate on, because the invite process assumes that we're talking about the currently open document. So I will, and in fact, if I didn't have any document open, the invite a collaborator button would be disabled. But we do have a document open. I'm going to invite a second collaborator to collaborate on that same document. And this time I'll invite Jane Doe. And again, I'm just faking the email address to be mine so that it comes in so I can show it to you. Send the invitation. And now I see I have 2 pending invitations. Okay, now what happens? What does the email look like? Well, the first email was to John Doe, and this is what came in. As I was talking, the email pinged, and these emails just came in. It says, "Dear John Doe, inviting you to collaborate with me." What says what the package is, and then there's a set of instructions here that tell the person being invited what they need to do. And what it is that they need to do is they need to log in using their own ezEML account, log into ezEML, go to the collaborate page, click the collaborate link at the top right, and on the page they have to accept an invitation, and there's a code that's unique code that's provided that identifies the particular invitation in question. So I'm going to copy that code, and as user 2, John Doe, I'm going to go to collaborate. See, it is user 2 here. Go up to collaborate, click that. As user 2 currently, I don't have a document open, so I can't invite a collaborator. It's not enabled. But I can accept an invitation, which I will do. And it tells me that please make sure you're logged into ezEML using the same account that you're going to use in editing the package, and now put in the invitation code, which I copied from the email. I accept the invitation. It says you have successfully accepted it. And now I see as user 2 in my collaboration list of collaborations, I see a collaboration where as user 2, I am the collaborator, not the owner. User 1 is the owner. And it tells me that this package, EDI22, is currently in use by user 1. I'll say more about that in a second. Now, if I go back to user 1 and refresh the collaborate page by clicking up here on collaborate, I see that the invitation to John Doe is no longer pending, so that's gone. But I have a collaboration shown. As user 1, I am the owner. So in this collaboration, I'm listed as the owner. The collaborator is user 2. The status is in use by user 1 because I have the document open. And I'll say more about that in a second. Let me, as user 3, I'll go in and accept user 3's, which was Jane Doe, accept that invitation. Let me bring up the email. Jane Doe got this email. All the same contents, except it has a different invitation code. So I'll copy that. And now I'm on user 3, Jane Doe's browser, accept an invitation, put in the invitation code I just got, accept the invitation. So now as user 3, I see that I have a collaboration with user 1. And I'll just refresh that to get rid of those messages. So that's makes sense. And user 2 still is in collaboration with user 1. Now user 1, the owner, I just refresh the page and I see now that that pending invitation to user 3 is gone because it's been accepted. And as the owner here, I'm in collaboration with 2 different users on this package. So all 3 of us, user 1, user 2, user 3, can edit EDI22, subject to some restrictions that we'll talk about now. So let me just say that each user in their collaborate table sees just the information that's pertinent to them, that involves them. So that user 2 is a collaborator and sees that fact listed, but they don't need to see that user 3 is a collaborator because that doesn't involve them directly. All right, so let's talk about this in use by. While I have, as user 1, while I have the document open, the ezEML establishes it grants me exclusive use of the package while I'm working on it. It basically locks out the other collaborating users because we don't want to be stepping on each other's changes. So I can go in now and let me just add some text here, text added by user 1, just to demonstrate the fact that we're going to have that we share the same version of this thing. I save, go back to the collaboration page, and let's say that's all I wanted to do. That's the only change I wanted to make. So now I can surrender the exclusive use, the lock, either by clicking here, make available, which does it directly, or if I go up and open a different document, so that also means that I'm no longer working on this document, or if I close this document, or if I log out, or if I'm inactive, completely inactive on this document for a half an hour or more, any of those things will free it up for the collaborators. So let me, for purposes of demonstration, let me just open a different document. And now if I go as user 2, so user 1 now is looking at a different document. Now it's EDI39. User 2, if I refresh the collaborate page, I see that now EDI22 is available because user 1 is no longer using it. In the same way, user 3, if I go in and look at the collaborate page and refresh it, I see that that user 3 also sees that EDI22 is available. Now, either one of these users or the original owner, anybody can now, the package is available, so anybody can open it. And as soon as they do, they will have exclusive use of it until that exclusivity is released. So let's say user 2 wants to do some stuff to this package. As a collaborator, I don't see EDI22. If I go up to do the normal open, I don't see EDI22 in the list because I'm not the owner of it. But as a collaborator, I can open it. But I need to do it through the collaboration machinery. So I go to the collaborate page, I find the package that I'm interested in, I see that it is available, and I can click open. If it were in use by somebody else, the open wouldn't be here because it's not an available action. But since it is available, I can open, I click it. Now I am editing EDI22. I get the normal description of the active EML document, but it also adds on, because I'm a collaborator, not the owner, ezEML adds on this indication that it's owned by a different user, in this case, user 1. Now, when I opened it, notice that I see the text that was added by user 1. So I really am looking at that same version, that same shared instance of the document. Let me just put in here something from user 2, just to continue to demonstrate that it really is a shared version. Now, as user 2, I'm working on it. I opened it. At the moment, as soon as I opened it, the status changed to in use by user 2. Since I'm user 2, I'm the one that's using it, I can make it available. Or if I log off or something, it will also become available. Now, what happens if I'm, as user 1, the owner, I can go to the open dialog, and that, because I'm the owner, that package is in my list. And let's say, remember now it's in use by user 2, it's locked by user 2. So what happens if I go and try to open it? ezEML tells me that EDI22 is currently in use by user 2, and tells me that what are the conditions under which it'll be released, and it tells me that I can go look at the collaborate page to check up on the status. So let's say now that user 2, we added some text, and that's all we wanted to do, so we can make it available. When you make it available, ezEML actually closes the document, because if it left it open, then it would basically immediately say, oh, it's open, I got to lock it. So you just wouldn't be able to ever get anywhere. So when you make it available, it's automatically closed. Now, if I go to the collaborate page, I see that it's available. Now, how about user 3? Let's say user 3, I'll just refresh here to make sure that I'm looking at the current status. Yeah, it's available. User 3 opens it, sees that it's owned by user 1. It sees the text that was added by the other users. And I mean, just add some text by user 3. And by the way, the moment I opened it, the status changed to in use by user 3. All right, now let's say I'm done. Make it available. And now user 2 still sees that it's available because user 3 just freed it up, and user 1 will see that it's available. So as user 1, I'm the owner. So the way I open it is I go up to the normal open, EDI22, I open it, and I see all the text that everybody added. So we really and truly are operating on a shared instance. Basically, what's going on is that the files, the EML metadata files and the data tables, etc., are all residing in the account of user 1, but user 2 and user 3 are given what amounts to indirect links into that file storage area so they can get in there and access it. So there's really only one copy. It's the one in the owner's account, but the collaborators can get at it. And let me just stress that we didn't to cause the package to be locked, to get the exclusive use of the package, I never had to do anything. It's the moment, for example, a collaborator opens it, and I'll just go back to the collaborate page without doing anything. We see that just opening it all by itself caused this to be given exclusively to the user that opened it. So that you don't have to do anything to get these locks established. That just happens. And it's also, as I mentioned briefly, if you are just inactive for some period of time, you go out to lunch or you leave to go on vacation or whatever, it's actually, I think, currently set to half an hour, that if half an hour back inactivity, the package is freed up. So there's not any problem of somebody leaving it locked and nobody else can get at it. Let me explain about why do we do this invite. Uh, okay, just point out again that since I don't have a package open, I can't invite anybody to collaborate on it. And the tooltip tells me you can only invite collaborators if you have a document open and it is one that you own. But so let's go back and as the owner, user one, I'm going to open the document, go to the collaborate page. And we saw that we have this process of invite and accept to establish the collaboration. Why do we have that? It might seem more complicated than you'd expect. The reason is this: that when I invite John Doe or Jane Doe to collaborate with me, I know their name, I know their email address, I might even know their username, but I don't know their identity in terms of how ezEML knows them. One of the issues is that ezEML allows you to log in using Google, GitHub, Orchid, or LDAP credentials. And you might have the same username, like I do. I have the same username in Google as I do in GitHub. And if I happen to have at some time in the past logged in using that username from both the Google, my Google, using Google credentials or using GitHub credentials, I'd have two different ezEML accounts according to those, corresponding to those different logins. So we need ezEML needs a way of knowing what account it is establishing the collaboration with. So by getting the person who's being invited, getting them to log in to ezEML and accept the invitation within ezEML, then ezEML says, oh, this is the account that I need to collaborate with. And that's why it's important when you accept an invitation to accept it using the account that you're going to use to edit the shared package. And that's one of the things that's mentioned in the invitation email. All right. Just checking here to see if there's one other thing. As the owner of the document, I have the ability to end a collaboration with one of my collaborators. So let's say, user 3, I just needed Jane Doe to collaborate briefly, but we're done. Rather than leave it in so that she'll see it in her collaboration page. Don't want to clutter it up for her. So I can end the collaboration. It says, are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. And now as user 3, if I go back to user 3, collaborate page, there's no collaboration between user 1 and user 3 anymore. Only the owner can end a collaboration, and the owner can only do it when the owner has it locked. And the reason for that restriction is so that we don't end a collaboration while the collaborator is in the middle of doing something. So I need to, if I want to end the collaboration, say with user 2, I want to click end collaboration here. I needed to first open the document. I needed to have it locked. I need to have it in use by user 1. That's me. One other thing I should mention is that I've been doing it frequently. But I haven't really made a point of it. Is I've been clicking the collaborate link to cause the collaborate page to refresh, and that's the status that's shown. If you want to make sure that what you're looking at is the current status and not something that's out of date, when in doubt, refresh the page by clicking collaborate, and then you'll see what the current status is. So I was doing that a lot, but let me just point that out. The I think that's the story on collaborate with colleagues. And again, you can collaborate with multiple colleagues. You can also collaborate. I could have had collaboration, involving this package, but then, I opened a different package. I could invite collaborators to collaborate on that package, and I could have, if I'm an information manager, let's say at a LTER site or something, I can have collaborations going with several different scientists, working on different packages, that kind of thing. All right, so that's the story on when we went to submit share package and we saw this collaborate with colleagues. So we've pretty much covered that. Now, what about submit package to EDI? It used to be that there was a command send to EDI, which would, similar to send to colleague, it would zip up the metadata and the data files and send an automatic email to the EDI data curation team with a link to download that zipped up package, and then the EDI data curation team could import it into their own ezEML account and work on it. But had the same sort of drawbacks that send to colleague had, namely that you could wind up doing a lot of sending back and forth if you if the curators need you to change something and then you need to resubmit it and so on. And if the curators made changes in their copy, the copy that you had sent them, those changes wouldn't automatically reach your version. So you could have a version that's out of date, a version that doesn't match what was actually submitted to the EDI repository. So to deal with those issues, we've changed the submission process so it uses the collaboration machinery. So let me click submit package to EDI. It tells you that it will hand off your ezEML data package to EDI's data curation team, allowing them to access it directly. Basically, it'll set up a group collaboration with the whole curation team. They'll review it, and if any changes or corrections are needed, they'll contact you before they change anything. They may just ask you to change it, or they ask your permission to change it themselves. When all needed changes and corrections have been made, then they will take care of submitting it to the EDI data repository. So there's a sort of a curation step. You submit it, but it doesn't immediately go in the repository. They look it over, make sure that everything's in good shape, that all the needed metadata entries are present and that kind of thing. And then after it's been gone over and fixed as needed, then it will be submitted and actually uploaded to the EDI data repository. And they just note that this process may take several days. So when you click submit, don't expect it immediately to show up in the EDI's data portal. All right, so I'm going to submit a package to EDI, and what I do is I identify myself so that the data curation team can get back to me, and put in whatever notes. Now I could, if there were things in the, that I wasn't sure about how to handle, or, particular things that I wanted to bring to the curator's attention, just, to make sure that what I did was okay, I could describe that in the notes section. So it's basically whatever I want the curators to know, or maybe I want the package to be embargoed initially or something. Anyway, so whatever I need to tell them, I could put here in the notes. Then I submit. Now what happens is that the EDI data curation team is notified that I've submitted, and an ezEML sets up a collaboration with the EDI curators as a group. And notice I had EDI 3.9 open, so that was the package that I'm submitting. And right away, a collaboration is created, and right away the curators as a group are given exclusive use. So while the data curation team is looking at your document, you will be locked out. And the reason for that is, again, just so where people aren't stepping on each other's changes. So if you go now and try to open it, you get the kind of message we saw. It is currently in use by EDI curators, and just hang on. All right, so now I'm going to show you some things that the curators see on their end, and this is stuff that you, as an end user, you won't see, but I think it'll help you understand what's going on. So now what I've brought up here is the collaboration page for a curator, a fictitious curator, curator 1, and as we saw in the in the collaborations we looked at before, as curator 1, I see the stuff that is relevant to me, the things that I'm party to. I am an EDI curator, so I see this group curation here, this collaboration with this whole group, because I'm one of them, and I see that I see an entry for me individually as a curator, curator 1. Now, so what's going on here? As a group, the curators have exclusive use, and if the owner sees that it's in use by EDI curators. Going back now to the curator page, within the curators, no one curator has taken control. So within that group lock, if you could call it, the status is still available, but it's only available to people in the curators group. So as a curator, I can click open. It's the same kind of thing as we saw before. I'm a collaborator. The way I open it is to click open. This is just this fictitious curator is brand new, so they're seeing the welcome message that only gets shown initially to users. So let me close that. All right, so now I am looking at that EDI 3.9, the thing that was submitted. It tells me that it's owned by user 1. So this is all the same kind of stuff that we saw in the collaborate with colleagues. If I go to the collaborate page, I see that again, this is a curator, so it looks a little different, but the underlying machinery is the same. I see the group collaboration, the collaboration with the EDI curators. Now I see that it's in use by me, curator 1, and as with the other collaborations, I can make it available. Let me just, to continue with the theme, I can put in some text. Now, this is a different package from what we were working on before, so I don't see the text that was added by user 1, user 2, that business, because that was a different package altogether. But now I've added some text to this package, and let's say now I want to let some other curator look at it, so I made it available. But the group lock, the lock by EDI curators, that remains in effect. And the idea there is that the different it may require several different curators to look at the package, and we just want to leave it locked during that process so that so that we're not stepping on each other. As a curator, I can, if I have it open, so I have a lock on it, I can release the group lock. What that means is, let's say I need the owner of EDI 3.9 to do something. Right now, they can't because it's in use by EDI curators, but I can release that. And now if I go back to the owner's browser, refresh, and I see it's available. And as the owner, I can open it through the open dialog. And when I do, I see the text that was added by curator 1. So again, we are working truly on a shared version. Because I opened it, I now have the exclusive use. It's in use by user 1. But let's say I've done whatever the curators asked me to do, and I want to give it back to them. I don't need to go through the submit package EDI again. I just make it available because we already have a collaboration established. And since I made it available, the curators can take control, and they can apply a group lock, which means it'll show up as in use by EDI curators, or I can just open it. And now if I look at it, because I'm a curator, it says it's in use by EDI curators. And everything is just like we saw with the collaborate with a colleague. One difference, or one thing to point out here, again, this is the curators page, so it looks different from what the end user sees. But I just want to point out that there's when a submit package to EDI is done, setting up that collaboration with the EDI data curators group, and a backup is automatically made of the entire package. And the curators have the ability then to restore the package back to the status, to the condition it was in at the point where it was initially submitted. The check mark means the original version, and they can do additional backups along the way, and any one of those can be looked at with preview, can be restored with restore, and so on. I'm showing you that just to give you some comfort level that when you do this, when you enable EDI data curators to look at your package, and do you run the risk that they're going to mess it up, in a way that's irremediable? But no, we have a backup, so we can always go back to the original. All right, and then when the curators are all done, they'll submit it to the EDI data repository, and they can just end the group collaboration at that point. And now that collaboration with involving EDI 3.9 is gone because it's been ended. One thing I can point out is that if we open, I'm going to open a different package. Notice that this package, we have this check metadata feature, which lists errors and warnings about things that are required but have not been filled in. And if there are errors as opposed to warnings, there's a red badge next to check metadata. If there was just warnings, it would be yellow, and if there weren't either warnings or errors, it'd be green. So in this particular package, there are some issues. So now if I go to submit share package and I say I want to submit to EDI, this looks a little different because I get this message here saying your metadata contains one or more errors. To see what the errors are, use check metadata. We encourage you to correct those errors. It'll streamline the process, and otherwise there's going to be some back and forth, but you don't have to. If, for example, there are things that you're not quite sure how to handle, you can go ahead and submit it with errors, but please put in your notes what it is that, what are the stumbling blocks? What do you feel like you need further explanation on? And that will make it possible for the curators to assist you better. And I think, just one last point. When we set up the collaborate, when we did the submit package to EDI, which under the hood automatically set up a collaboration with all of the EDI data curators, we didn't have to go through this invite and accept process. Why is that? And the answer is that the data curation team is a known set of users, known to ezEML. It knows who they are and what accounts they're going to use. So it is able to just go ahead and set up the collaboration links without having to ask them to identify themselves. So we don't need that invite accept process, which makes it way simpler, streamlines it. And I believe that's everything I wanted to go over. I'm just checking my notes here real quick. Yeah. So, I just mentioned that the examples I showed, all we did was edit some metadata text, but we also could have done, loads the data table from a CSV file, or if there was already a table in there, we could have done the re-upload, those kinds of things. Things that affect not just the metadata, but the data itself. Collaborators can make those changes as well, and they all are reflected in the account of the owner as you would like. All right, so I think that'll wrap up this presentation. I hope people find this useful. So far, the experience with the new way of submitting seems to go very smoothly. But please, we welcome all feedback. If you find any issues or anything, email us at support@edirepository.org. And